Hello everyone, this is Amit Siddhartha from Metapercept, and I have George Bina from Syncro Soft, an Oxygen XML company, CEO with me, and we'll be presenting our webinar on minimizing data implementation using Oxygen XML editor. So during first 45 minutes of this webinar, we are going to cover all the topics that we have listed out for this webinar session, and last 15 minutes will be for questionnaire session. So if any participant has a question, then please hold on, or you can just put your questions in this area in the chat box, and you can just type in your queries here, and you can send your queries to us, or else you can wait for wait during the last 15 minutes with your questions, and you can ask us over the call, and we would be able to help you with those questions. And we are also recording this webinar, and recording will be available on YouTube and other sites, the blog of Oxygen XML, and also it will be available with Metapercept blog. So if you want to access the recordings later on, you can do that. So if anyone has any questions, just please feel free to send your questions in this by typing in this area of your go-to webinar application. So George, I think we should get started with our webinar now.
Yes. Hi Amit. Hi everyone. Yes, of course we can start. I just want to let our attendees know that we have also a couple of my colleagues online. So if you type any question in the questions panel of your go-to webinar control panel, then our colleagues will be able to reply also during the webinar, and at the end we will go through the questions anyway. Yes, so let's get started.
Okay, great. So we'll be presenting a few topics regarding DITA. First of all, it will start with why we need DITA in technical documentation field, and what is DITA all about, and how to use Oxygen XML tool for authoring in DITA. So moving to the next slide, so this is the agenda that we are going to cover in today's session during our webinar. So it is first point will be understanding DITA, that what is DITA all about. So I think most of you might be aware of DITA, as it has been a long time that people, like technical writers in the industry, has been working in structured documentation, but still somebody has some misconception or might be not aware of DITA authoring methodology. And then I'll just create few basic topics in DITA using Oxygen XML editor. And then George Bina will explain how to manage scenarios and how to publish outputs in various formats. And then we'll be talking about our new feature from Oxygen XML, that is the web-based authoring. And it is mainly for teams who are working in collaborative environment across various geographical locations. And the sharing of files is pretty easy, sharing of your content, and then reviewing your content, and keeping a track of your content, that if any update has happened across the team, then how to track those changes and other things. So all the review thing will be covered in this web-based authoring thing as well. So it is a new and exciting feature that Oxygen XML has introduced. So let's get started with DITA. So introducing DITA. DITA is Darwin's information typing architecture, as we know, and it is a XML-based authoring method, and it uses specific elements that controls the entire structure of your content, and it helps you write your content in specific order. And all these contents are mainly information module based kind of information, which are actually task, concept, and reference. So primarily we have three Dita topics, that is task, concept, reference, and all these topics has their own intent of authoring content. So when you're writing any content like introduction, overview, or anything that is conceptual, for that we use concept DTDs in Dita, which I'll show you once we go to our Oxygen XML editor tool, that what DTD to pick for what kind of content type. And then for task or procedure based content, we use task DTD, and for reference we use reference. So mainly when we have to present a table or say properties table or something like that, or if we are providing any a reference to certain concepts or tasks, then we can have it in our reference topics. And for general topics we can always use the general topic DTD. And using those DTDs we create various topics, and then we collate them together and publish various output formats. So when we use Dita, it minimizes the writing effort, and also it increases content reuse across all the documentation projects. And even the marketing team can get benefit out of it, that they don't have to write all the specification table and other details like that, as it has already been done by the technical writers, who are more like efficient in writing all the contents in a very perfect order. So now moving to the next slide. So authoring in Dita, I'll be covering the authoring in Dita part, like creating Dita topics, using Dita topics, and Topicref and Conref in Dita. And then George will cover managing scenarios and web-based authoring. So any question and answer session, we'll be dealing with that at a later stage. So moving to now our own Oxygen XML editor. So I have created two topics in advance for this demo purpose, but I'll tell you that how to create topics in Dita. So you have file, and then you have new, and in this you will get you will see a couple of folders, and in these folders you will see framework templates, and in this framework template mainly we have to work around in these two folders. For Dita map we have to go to the Dita map folder, and for topics we have to be in the Dita topics. So here you can see that we have a Dita directory, and under that we have topic, and inside that you have learning, which is used for mainly the when we prepare training material, or for the learning team, mainly for the instructional designers, for whom there are separate DTDs available. And then you have concept, task, and a reference available here. So we'll be mainly working on these three topic types, and then there is one topic type which is a simple topic, simple DTD. Okay. And then if we are working on say troubleshooting guide, and we want a specific format for that, then we can use troubleshooting also. So I have used one concept topic for introduction, and one task topic for explaining one procedure. So for this demo I have so I just double click on this topic, and I select it and click on create, and I get my topic listed. So this topic is actually introduction topic, and this is regarding how to write an email using Gmail, which is obviously we are all aware of, but I just try to keep things very simple so that it is easy to understand. And as you see that it is what you see is what you get interface. So it is pretty easy to just write content, and if you are referring to any older content, any legacy document, and you think that some of the content you can use from there, then you can also use smart paste feature. That is one of the most exciting feature in Oxygen XML editor latest version. And but I would suggest that you use that smart paste for only for the concept or reference topics, not for the task, because task topic has a restricted DTD or the elements defined, and that does not allow most of the things to be pasted easily in your data topic. So this is just what you see is what you get view of your document, but if you want to see that exactly how it looks in data, then we can go ahead and enable the full tags with attributes, so that it gets us the information that what all attributes are assigned to my topic. So it has a concept ID. So every time we create a topic, it has an ID, or we can generate an ID through our any publishing system or content management system also, or manually also we can do that. Then we have a paragraph tag for this con body. So we get all these tags through our Oxygen XML tool. So most of the topics, so this is a simple topic. I have kept it very simple, but I'm going to show you a few things that you can add. Like for this topic, introduction topic, if I want to add a prologue section, then I'll place my cursor after this and I will press enter, and I get a prologue section. So I can include abstract, prologue, short description, or alternate title, or anything like that. And I am going to use prologue, and in this prologue information I can insert whatever metadata I want to use, or the keywords that I want to define, or any index term also. So it provides all those elements here. So you can see that it provides the author, then it provides copyright information, then it provides data. So it can provide, like it provides most of these information. So here you can see that I can have the metadata, and within that metadata then I can define my keywords, and I can define all those keywords, say introduction. Okay, so it is, so in introduction then we can have our index terms. So we can define index term as Gmail introduction. Okay, so this way we can save all these files. So don't worry about these elements getting published. These elements never get published. They are all just the metadata of your topic. So XML has this feature of retaining those metadata, and it actually helps in identifying your topics quickly or searching your topics quickly within a big set of document or within a project. And then I have created one task topic. Okay, so also if you want to apply some say elements for or say any if you want to apply any elements for buttons or anything like that, then like if you're specifying a button in or a UI control in your UI, then for that you don't have to actually go ahead and bold it, make a bold face content or something like that. Okay, we have been doing that instead, but here we use UI control for most of the button elements. So wherever we are referring to a button or any tabs, then it is mainly a UI control. So we can use these simple elements like UI control for any field element. Then we can use user input, and when we are writing a command or a parameter, then we can write command parameters, all those kind of elements. So we can see that when we place our cursor at any place and just we press enter, then we get multiple information. So for when you are writing API document, you can use command name, then you can use code phrase. So all these elements can be used, and these things actually help a lot when you are writing any command reference guides or the programmer's guide, so that these elements are exactly extracted from your content and used for the API help also. And So I have referred to some of the images here. So we can have image, and I have used, so for explaining the step result, like click compose, I have uh, provided a result like what screen appears after that. So for displaying that screen, I have actually created, clicked on one, this element which says step result. Okay, and so we have step results, and then we have step examples. So we can always provide all these things, step result and step examples. And this step result, we have image references. So we have included this image reference. And if you want figure numbering and other things, then you can use a figure tag, and it will allow you to have your figure numbers, and you can also put your figure titles for those images. So all these graphics, mainly the screenshots within steps, are included, are contained under image element or the figure element. So once you have figure, then you should have image element. Okay, so this is how we have like created a small task topic which explains these steps to write an email using Gmail. So you can see that I have included in the task body, I have the prerequisites also. So before starting any task, any procedure, I have defined some prerequisites, which says before you begin, before you start writing an email, you will need. So I have just provided some prerequisite which comes under a prerequisite task, prerequisite elements. Sorry. So we can have all these lists defined under prerequisites, and then we can have a context for that procedure, and then we can go stepwise with all these steps for writing an email. And as you have completed all these steps going forward, then you may want to include some of the comparison feature in your introduction section also, and that has already been written and published by someone, for example, in your document, in any of the document, or is it if it is available on web. So it has already been published and you might not have included in your document. Then here comes the smart paste feature of Oxygen XML. So I would say that we can just go ahead and copy paste this kind of table from another content, or even if it is published on web, and we can use that content within our topic, and it will retain the structure of that. So you can see that by default all these elements are already available. So this is the smart paste feature of Oxygen XML, which gets all these elements predefined in your content. So you do not have to actually insert all the elements or apply all the elements when you copy and paste any content from other source. So Oxygen XML smart paste feature takes care of that. And these are just the few things that I wanted to show you, that how to create any topic. So I would just like to save this file, and then we can go ahead and generate a PDF. So I'll generate a simple PDF for that. And after generating,
you didn't save the file. I mean, sorry, you didn't save the file. Actually,
okay,
still modified.
Okay, so I think it is saved. No. Okay, now it is going to be saved. Yes, it is saved. Thank you, George. Yeah. So now we can just go ahead and save this file to the. So we have various output formats available. So where if you want to publish a web help, or if you want to publish ePublic, like EPUB for mobile devices, or CHM help, we have all these output formats available, and these can be even customized. So the customized ones are here, and these are the default ones available. So we can just publish a PDF out of that, and we can see how our output looks. So it will generate a PDF, and let's see how it comes. So it will take a few seconds, I think, to publish the output, and we should have our PDF ready. Yeah. So this is the topic that we have got. So TOC we did not generate it, but it got generated by default. And here is the table that we copy pasted from other source. You can see that it has come so neat. It is appearing so neat in this document, and all these steps are also coming properly. So structuring of your book map is one part which we are not actually covering in this webinar, which is actually we'll be doing it later whenever we will schedule another webinar for Oxygen XML. And in that, actually, I would like to explain more details about how to structure the document and how to play around with various topics, and how to include your topics or use your topics with in your Dita project. So that's it from my side regarding basic features of Oxygen XML that can help you create and publish your content. And now I would hand over a presentation to George, who will take you through other topics of this webinar. Over to you, George.
Thanks, Amit. Thank you. So hi again. As Amit presented, Oxygen can be used also for publishing data content. So let me see. So we want to cover now this part, managing transformation scenarios, and after that the web-based authoring. So as Amit presented, you can also publish with Oxygen to a number of formats, and Oxygen includes the Dita Open Toolkit, and if you type Dita in this filter in the preferences, we can get to this Dita page where you can see different options for the Dita Open Toolkit. So Oxygen includes both Dita OT 1.8, which is the latest stable version of the Dita Open Toolkit, and Dita Open Toolkit 2.3 right now, which is the current or latest version of the Dita Open Toolkit. Dita Open Toolkit has frequent releases lately, so it will not be really the latest one, but it's the new version of the Dita Open Toolkit. You can also use your own Dita Open Toolkit. For example, if you specify custom here and provide a location for the Dita Open Toolkit that you want to use, and this may be specific to one of your projects. So if you switch this preference page to project options, then that information will be stored within your project. So when you switch between projects, then you can switch automatically between different versions of the Dita Open Toolkit. Oxygen comes with a samples project, and in that project you can find this Dita folder, and we have a number of Dita maps here, and I will use one of couple of these sample maps to show some of the publishing outputs that are available. So if you choose to transform the document, you can choose, as Amit said, from the predefined transformations, which are here, which come from the Dita map framework configuration for Dita maps. And then we have additional transformations which are stored within the project. So by storing a transformation scenario within the project, then I share that configuration information with anyone using the same project. And in this case, we have set up at the project level transformations using the responsive web help. The web help transformation is Oxygen specific, so we extended the HTML transformation from the Dita Open Toolkit, and we have this web help plugin. And the responsive web help is the latest version of this web help Dita OT plugin that we provide in version 18. And I just want to show you some of these examples. So if we publish this flowers data map through the web help responsive, you see the progress here. Next to the progress, you also have this icon that says show console output. So if you want to see what's going on, then you can press on that and you will see the console of the Dita Open Toolkit, so you can see, what's happening. Here it is the output of this map. Maybe to get an idea of the difference between these, let's transform also to HTML. So now if we press this console, we can see the processing that is going on. So this is how basically the HTML transformation looks like. And the same data map transformed with this responsive web help looks like this. And it's responsive because if you are on a phone, basically it will render like this. And if you are on a tablet, probably it will be something like this, and on a desktop it will look like you see it here. So as you can see, it's a completely different user experience. It is centered on searching, and also browsing is really nice with a mini table of contents and so on. Moving back to Oxygen and opening, this is the standard garage sample that comes with the Dita Open Toolkit. If we publish this again with the web help responsive, you can see a different template used for the responsive web help. So a different way of presenting a data map. So again, looks more like a website basically, and we are really happy with this modern look of data documents basically. Now, transformation scenarios just contain a configuration for a publishing output. So you can create and customize these transformation scenarios. Let's say we want to change here, you see we have this everything for your car, this message on the home page. This comes as a parameter in the transformation. So when you edit the transformation, then you can see here the templates that you can choose from, or you can select your custom template and use a custom template. And here we have that we have access to all the parameters that can be customized for this transformation. And instead of everything for your car, we can say get your car repaired, for instance. Right, so we can change a parameter here. Then we can apply possibly different filters. So we can, if you use conditional content, then you can apply a DITA-val filter, or even specify directly in Oxygen what audience or what product values you want to retain. You can also customize again the DITA-OT, the build file, and so on. So these are more advanced options. And then you can specify where the output will be generated and what should be opened and so on. So now we changed the main message to say get your car repaired. And if we apply this transformation, we should get an updated version showing get your car repaired, right, as the main message here. You can also say new transformation scenario, select Dita Open Toolkit transformation, and then now here you have a list with all the defined transformation types in the current Dita Open Toolkit. So even if you install, let's say, a new Dita Open Toolkit plugin, if that is annotated with the Oxygen will identify automatically that new transformation type and will present that here. So basically, you can just select any transformation type, say OK, and then specify, select either skins if there are skins available, set parameters, set filters, and so on, and that will be saved. That transformation can be saved within the project, as I said earlier, and shared with others, or you can have that saved in your global transformations, so then you can use that between multiple projects. You can also export and import transformation scenarios, so you can, that's another way of sharing transformations. When publishing, you can also check multiple so let's say you want to publish to PDF and to web help and to EPUB and to I don't know, Eclipse help and so on. You can just select all these transformations, and when you say apply or save and close, and now all these transformations are associated with a transform action. So then when you click on the transform action, you will get all of this applied. I will not do this right now because it will take a few time. I just wanted to show maybe if we create a new web help responsive transformation again and choose this time a different template. Let's pick this orange one, just to get an idea of what it means to have exactly the same content published using a different template. So now we have basically this output. And now exactly from the same content, so rather than having this Meccano template, we have this orange template, and we changed also the entry part to contain this different navigation compared with when you have tiles here with different chapters. Now here you have this expandable format where you can see also the content of each chapter. So it's a different approach, but basically uses the same mechanism from the responsive help. It's a different skin that is used. And we published also our user guide. So if you go to oxygenxml.com, on the documentation page, we have the web help here. And this uses also the responsive web help transformation from Oxygen. And includes also, it's a little more customized to include also this video part, and you see here also some additional customized footer and so on. So it basically becomes part of our website, so it morphs into our website theme. Now if you go to on our website, you can see that along with the editor, author, the developer product, and the web help product, we added this web author product. And you can discover this by clicking on the read more, where you can find more information about Oxygen on the web as a web-based editor. And the most interesting part here, I think, is the try it online option, which gets you to a dashboard where we have which allows you to try either directly one of these samples, or use your own file and place them on Dropbox, on your Google Drive account, maybe on your SharePoint account, or on a web app server, or on GitHub. And then you can use these actions. For instance, if I say SharePoint, I can log in with Office 365, and then I have access to my SharePoint repository. I can open files from there. Let's say we choose the same flowers example, and now we can we see the data map, and we can open, click on a link to open a topic. Now we have a topic that you see I played with earlier that contains some content, and also comments, annotations, or it may contain also, if we delete something here, this will be recorded as deleted content. We can save the file, and maybe we can access the same content also from Oxygen. So if we go to, I have set up SharePoint also on my local Oxygen, for example, and we can go to the same repository. Let me close this. We don't need this anymore. And we have opened here the Snowdrop topic. So let's open that also here. So now you see the change that I made. This deleted content is available here. It says that is deleted by me just 1 minute ago. So I can say accept, for instance. So someone can use this interface, basically the web interface, to propose some changes or to review my document, adding comments, or making updates on the document with change tracking. And on the other end, if I'm using the desktop version, then I receive that information, and I can accept, reject changes, or I can maybe they provided this comment, I can say reply and say something back to them, save the document, and when they open the document again from SharePoint, they will see under review, my reply, and they can reply to that also, to kind of a conversation going on where people can discuss on those specific changes that they want to make, and then at some point someone can say, okay, it's done, and we can just remove this comment or act on that, to fix the document or and things like that. Let me see where we are. So that's basically the web-based editor that you can try even now. So just you can just go to oxygenxml.com/webauthor, and then you have this try it online link, which will get you to the dashboard, right? Now it's nice that we published the where do we have the sample with the, so we have the Oxygen documentation basically published to web help. And it will be interesting, right, if you see, for instance, this topic and someone notices or someone reviews this topic in the published form and discovers an issue here, to be able to edit this and suggest that change directly to us. We are working on this, and it will be available shortly also on our website. Right now, my colleague Christy published like a test for this. So if we go, let's say, to the getting started topic, now we have this link here which says edit on GitHub. The source code of the Oxygen user guide is available on GitHub. So if I click here, it will open the web author on the getting started topic. And let's say we suggest here, or we just change here and say getting started getting started with our product or whatever, just suggest some change, right? So when we say save, let's say we say update or correct title, and then what happens is that I do not have rights on this GitHub repository, so I cannot directly save my change, commit my change to that repository, and Oxygen Web Author will detect that and will ask to create a pull request. Will allow you to create a pull request automatically, and you can provide, an additional name for your request. And when you say commit, it will automatically commit into my repository, into a clone on my repository, and created a new branch for the for my content, and send that request to the owner of the source code. So now my colleague Christy can accept, let's say, the pull request, and he will get this update, right? So you can also click and see what change was made, and that's a very simple way showing an integrated workflow if you have the source, the data source on GitHub, and to allow other people to basically suggest changes or review your content maybe directly from the web help output. Another interesting part that we've been working on is the support for lightweight data, which is which shows a little more of the functionality from Oxygen that tries to involve other people, not necessarily technical authors, in creating, contributing content. That is available both in Oxygen. So if we type on the new dialog, if we just type a prefix or a substring, we can filter out from the available new document templates. So if we type light here, we get only the documents that match in their description this string. So we can easily identify a lightweight data topic. And here you can see on one hand you can see this information that can appear. So if we have a short description, we can just click on this eye icon to display a message to the user. The user can also enter content using these actions that are available in line. So if I want to insert a table, for instance, I can just click on this. I have these icons to insert more columns or more rows, right? So it makes it quite easy for someone that does not need to know DITA or doesn't know DITA. They can still discover very easily, that oh, we have a definition list, right? So they can insert here a term and description. They can click here and find out what a definition list should be used for, right? So they could get a description and they can just enter the term and the description for that term. If they want to add a new item, they can just click on a button and they have that item added. And the same kind of user interface is available also in the web author. I have a sample topic here, a sample lightweight data topic, and you can see also here the information button. You can see this plus sign that allows me to enter new structure in the document. Inline actions that allow me just to click on this to enter the corresponding element. Here we have an edit that will present attributes directly on the screen. So we can say source and then we can say done. And if we look at the attributes, we can see that we just edited the name and the value attribute of the data element, right? So rather than going on an attribute side view, you can have access to attributes directly in the user interface, right? Rather than pressing enter here to insert a new item, you can do that also by tapping or clicking on a button. Tapping because the web author is also responsive. So if you are on a phone, the user interface would be like this, and then tapping on these actions directly here will be a lot better user experience rather than going on a side view to edit attributes, or I don't know, pressing enter, which will pop up the choice of elements, which on a limited space is not ideal, right? So yeah, so that's what the web author opens the possibility to involve other users within an organizations, maybe engineers, maybe marketing people. As Amit also mentioned, they can contribute content using this easy to use interface, and they just need a link which can be sent by email, and so they can just click on a link to get immediate access to being able to review or create content. And because for this we have the core is the same engine as the Oxygen XML editor, smart paste as Amit presented, and other smart functionality that Oxygen has will automatically work in the web-based editor as well. So I think I will stop here to allow some time also for questions.
Thank you for this presentation, George. I think everyone might be very excited regarding this web authoring mode in Oxygen XML. So please, everyone, please feel free to ask your questions, whatever questions you have, and we would be happy to answer your questions.
We already have a couple of questions.
Okay.
Let me see if I can get some more real estate to see. So someone asked about what art the CSS followed in this case at some point, but then he left his email address and said he will follow by email. In situation where we already have content on our systems, how easy is it to convert existing content to Dita through Oxygen?
Okay.
Do you want to respond to this, Amit, or me, or?
So George, you can answer to this question.
Mm-hmm. So you can the conversion basically is a separate step from Oxygen, but Oxygen will allow you to run XSLT scripts or which can help with this conversion. It mainly depends also on the format. Some of the conversion can be done with this copy paste functionality, which is basically which uses under the hood uses. Let me move this out of the way. So the copy paste functionality from Oxygen basically uses a couple of XSLT style sheets that you can find also in the Dita framework.
So George, I would like to add on to this thing, this question. Migrating any content from Word file to Dita using Oxygen XML can be easily done using a smart paste feature for most of the conceptual information. So either your content is already published on web, or is it if it is available in Word, that can be easily done using smart paste feature. But if you are planning to migrate all the procedures and tasks, then you might have to take some extra effort and convert those contents in XML format, and then Oxygen XML can take care of that.
Yeah, so basically in the frameworks Dita, you have this resources folder, and what the smart paste does is basically converts what's in the clipboard as HTML to XHTML, and then it applies these XSLT style sheets, and then it does also some additional processing to merge the content into the document. So you can basically tune also the smart paste functionality to your needs. We also have a project that's called Dita Glass that performs dynamic conversions, and that has does markdown to Dita or other kind of conversions, but the focus there is not on the conversion scripts themselves. So yeah, let's move then to another question. What is the difference between XQuery and filter? How to use the same for single sourcing with Oxygen editor? I guess the filter is the Dita val filter in the transformation scenario. So let me go back to Oxygen. So when we transform here, I think that referred to this filter, I guess. And these filters allow you to select only some part of the content to be published in the output. So in the case of our user guide, we have a product. We use a product attribute with different values. So let's say you want to have a specific paragraph to be present only when a product has a particular value or for a specific audience, right? So you can say, oh, this is present only for expert audience, and then you can also make this visible in the user interface. So any section that is marked with profiling information will be presented, highlighted. So now if you when you publish a user guide for expert people, then you want to include this. But if you otherwise, you may want to exclude the parts that are specific for experts, right? So that's where the filter appears. XQuery is something else. XQuery is a language that allows you to query XML databases to extract information from XML documents. So it's they are completely different things. Can this be connected to TFS? I'm afraid I don't know what TFS should be. So can you maybe we can come back and or Ami, do you have any idea what TFS should be? Team Foundation Server. Well, the connectors for different repositories are pluggable, and the connector for GitHub, for instance, for Dropbox, for Google Drive, the source code for these connectors is available on our GitHub account. So if you go to github.com Oxygen XML, here, for instance, is the source code for the GitHub connector. So, but we do not have ready-to-use connector for Team Foundation Server.
So, George, I would like to add here, if someone is already using SharePoint server and they have TFS connectors available in their SharePoint server, then Oxygen XML can easily integrate with that.
Using the SharePoint connector, you mean?
Yes. So it works in either in a different way. That TFS should be connected to SharePoint, and then Oxygen XML directly talks to the SharePoint server.
A question for you, Amit. It says, can you elaborate on topic category? I know only about concept, reference, and topic. So if you can say something more about different data information types, different topic types in data?
Yes, so there are mainly three basic topic types in data, that are concept, task, and reference. And then later on they are actually categorized in various topic types also. Like we can have a graphical task for any, uh, so that is also a task topic only, where you are explaining all the information, all the procedure in a graphical format. So you are mainly mentioning all the procedure, all the steps using graphics. So there is no paragraph as such. So that can also be part of that. And then you have glossaries. Then you have various specification sheets or worksheet kind of information that goes in your reference topic. So no matter we subcategorize all the topics within data, but they are all part of concept, task, and reference only. So it is mainly how do you identify those content or the content that you are planning to write for data. So how do you categorize that, and based on that you have to use any of these three basic topics only. So for any conceptual information, you can just go ahead and use the concept DTD, and in that you can go to you can include all the content in that based on your requirement. So if you, I'll just George, can you just make me panelist so that I can
Sure.
share my screen? So you can see that we have composite, then we have we can see on my desktop that I have composite, then I have concept, general task, glossary entry, machinery task. So these are all part of the task topics only. So the machinery task and general task are same thing, but it is, and even the task, but just that machinery task has some specialized elements that is specially used for machine-centric environment, where you may have like more of hazard related information available. So for those kind of topic types, you have to use these topics. And then glossary entry or glossary group is mainly for glossary. So as George was showing that we can have various entries one after another in the web authoring mode, then those kind of information are mainly categorized in the glossary entry. So they are mainly for general description or say general definition list, it is kind of. So definition list can also be contained under glossary entry. So similarly you have a reference and troubleshooting. So troubleshooting is again one of the subcategories of your task topic, where you have multiple information set. You may want to include some reference also in the troubleshooting topic. So you have all these topic sets available, but it is primarily your understanding of understanding of content, that how do you chunk your content and how do you present it in your concept, task, and reference topics. So these are the basic three topics that are going to remain. And then if you want to subcategorize them, then you can pick any of these DTDs, topic DTDs available from here, from this list, depending on your requirement. So I hope that answers your question. So George, can we move to the next question?
Yes, sir. Sorry, I was on mute.
Okay.
So a couple of number of people were asking about automating the conversion from Word to Dita, and you can do that to some degree. There are some. There is a plugin that also Oxygen includes from Dita for Publishers project that allow to let me see if I can change presenter back to me. Show my screen. So there's a plugin for from Dita for Publishers that should allow you to convert. So in the Dita OT here, you see it's Word to Dita, Dita for publishers, so you can create such a transformation that will try to get from a Word document a set of Dita topics. But you need to look more into this and play around with that, and keep in mind, you know, that because you do not control usually the word structure, this conversion, and even if you copy paste from Word to Oxygen, that will not give you all the time, you know, the expected results, or you cannot have a completely automated process. You still need to review the content, and even then, as Amit said, in Word you can have something bold, but actually you want that to be a UI control or some other more semantic markup in Dita. So even if you do a conversion and you have Dita content, it may not be the content that you really want. My hope is that people will start moving once, you know, having now the web version of Oxygen and being able to customize that, the user interface as I presented earlier with the lightweight Dita topics. That kind of interface will make easy for non-technical people to switch from Word to this web-based interface and be able to create the content directly in XML. Another question was when this presentation will be available on YouTube, and I expect that to be available in a couple of days, and you will receive a message from us pointing to that, hopefully, and so you should be able to see that. It will be published also on the events page of our website, and Amit also said he will make this recording available. Amit, do you want to say something more on the automation of automating conversion from Word to Dita?
Yes, George. So this automation can be done. We specialize in writing scripts that can migrate content from unstructured FrameMaker to structured documentation, especially in Dita, and also from Word to Dita. So that can be done, and also I'm planning to like organize few more sessions based on Oxygen XML, so that all the users can, or all the participants can have a better idea that how do we use Oxygen XML and how it can benefit in their technical writing. And so we can certainly get back to this audience again, and I'm hoping that we'll have more participants next time who would be more interested in understanding what all we can do with Oxygen XML when it comes to Dita implementation.
I think we have a couple of more questions, but
yeah. So, but we are out of time now. So
yes,
so we can get back to their questions with our answers. Yes.
By email after the session.
Yes. So they can get in touch with us on
maybe
on Twitter, or if they have any questions, they can just put in their questions on Facebook. So if you can just
yeah. So let me list
yes.
also this information.
Yes. So everyone can get in touch with us from this various forums, social networking sites, and you can drop in your questions or any other questions, even if you have apart from this what has been covered in this webinar. We would be really happy to answer your queries. And so George, if you would like to add on something.
I just want to say thank you, Amit, and thanks everyone for attending our webinar today. Looking forward to meet you next, and so enjoy working with Dita.
Yeah, so George, thank you so much for your help and letting us understand how the web authoring functions using Oxygen XML. And it was indeed a new feature that I think everyone would be excited, and especially people who are working in the product-centric projects where they may need to have very frequent updates or review comments from their customers or the users. So it would be a great feature that they can utilize in their documentation environment, wherein they can get a direct feedback from their customers. So it is indeed, it was a very great webinar, and thank you all for participating in this webinar, attending this webinar. Yep.
Maybe just to mention that we also have already scheduled a couple of more DITA webinars with where we try to some people also mentioned that I'm new to DITA, so tomorrow we have getting started with DITA and Oxygen, which should be a very good fit for that.
Yes.
I think so. Just check our events page and you will see you know what other webinars are available, and we'll be happy to have you joining us there. So
okay, then I think we will end this webinar now.
thank you, Amit.
Thank you,
Goodbye.
Jordan. Thank you, Oxygen XML team. Have a great day ahead. Bye bye, everyone. Have
Bye,
a great
everyone.
day.
Bye.